The ceasefire is very welcome. It'll be a huge relief to hostages and their families who've been through most awful of times. It's really important they're released just as quickly as possible. It'll be released for the very many Palestinians who've suffered hugely as well, and this must be used to get desperately needed aid in at scale and at speed. But it must also, and I've been talking to regional leaders about this, be used obviously to get through the various stages, but also as a path to a lasting peace, which has to be a two-state solution, a viable Palestinian state and a safe and secure Israel. So we're working with those in the region and our allies to make sure that this welcome news is enduring news, and we'll be putting all of our efforts into that.
And while that's happening in Israel, between Israel and Gaza, you are here in Ukraine, where President Zelensky is still locked in a fierce fight with Russia. Why have you come here today?
It's very important that we ensure that Ukraine is in the strongest possible position. That's something I've been arguing for since I've been Prime Minister. This is my 7th meeting with President Zelensky. I'm here at the burns unit of one of the Kiev hospitals, which is a grim reminder of the heavy price that Ukraine is paying here. So we must put in the necessary support. So that's what I'm discussing with President Zelensky today. We must never let up on that, and we've been leading the way. At the same time, we're signing a 100-year partnership between UK and Ukraine. This is a real statement of our intent for the long term in relation to our commitment to Ukraine. So I'm here for both of those purposes, but the main one is to make sure that Ukraine is in the strongest possible position during 2025.
And all European leaders are standing behind Ukraine. You said on your way to Ukraine that Putin's ambition to wrench Ukraine away from its closest partners has been a monumental failure.
It has been, and one of the consequences of this conflict has been to draw NATO more strongly together. It's bigger and stronger than it has been, and we must stand behind Ukraine for as long as it takes. But when we say Ukraine must be in the strongest possible position, that can't be just words. And that's why I've had such intense discussions with President Zelensky now over the months that I've been Prime Minister, and will again here in Ukraine, because that is very, very important as we go into 2025. We're now a long way into this conflict. We mustn't let up.
And just finally, back home, GDP figures out this morning. The economy has grown 0.1% in November. That has undershot analysts' expectations. Your Chancellor and yourself still under pressure. You desperately need economic growth, as you yourself would admit, if you want to achieve your decade of renewal. Is what's going on with the economy making you anxious?
It was always going to take time to turn around 14 years of economic failure under the last government. That was always going to take time. The figures out today are a step in the right direction, but there's much more that we've got to do and that we will do. We're going to be unrelenting when it comes to driving our economy forward, changing the planning rules, changing regulation. The Chancellor is having a session today with the regulators. We're unrelenting on this because we intend to turn this around to get that economic growth. And the reason for that is not a line on a graph, but so that your viewers, everybody listening to this and hearing this, will feel better off. And so we're 100% working on this. We're going to be unrelenting. It's a step in the right direction. There's a lot more that we will be doing.